Hey everyone, it's Under the Rare Microscope, where sometimes we ask, I wonder what science thinks about that, and then sometimes we give 9th grade biology lessons to grown adults because they think fighting is fun and science is fake. Today's comment is brought to you by somebody who's more disappointed in me than my father could ever be. Okay, Both Sides Sing is back with another gotcha moment, and this time, it looks like you dropped an NIH article, which I really do appreciate the National Institute of Health being used as a scientific journal and your proof, but I would have left out the Daily Wire part because they're about as scientifically rigorous as a fortune cookie. Oh, yeah, and politically biased. We're not doing that right here. We're talking textbook, we're talking science, we're talking about reality. I hope you'll actually listen and not just shut me down so quickly, because that kind of shows that you weren't listening. And if you do read your comments on my video, they do actually prove that you didn't listen to what I was saying. You keep going with the same argument, but it's not even scientific at all. We don't even teach that in middle school or elementary. It's not like you learned it at some point and then stopped learning. That's just wrong. And that NIH article, it's not what that's saying. No one ever said that intersex people have to produce both gametes in order to exist. That's not how biology works. Sex is determined by a mix of factors, and why, yes, gametes are one of those. Chromosomes are too, so are gonads, hormonal levels, and secondary traits. If intersex people exist outside of typical male-female categories, then the idea that there's only two is just not even possible. The Daily Wire is known to be so politically biased that they stack their guests in order to push a narrative that they are trying to fight for. So in the Daily Wire article, I don't know if you read it, but they use a biologist named Jerry Coyne to argue that biological sex is binary. And he says because only two gametes exist, which again is not how sex works. You can have XXY, XYY, XO, and other chromosomal variations that don't fit the binary. The fact that so many people have either mixed or ambiguous reproductive anatomy, that challenges the idea of strict male-female categories. The fact that there are two gametes doesn't mean every person's body follows the exact blueprint. Let's put it like this. If I handed you a box labeled apples and a different box labeled oranges, but then I gave you a banana, does the banana stop existing because you don't have a box for it? Or do you just need a better system? The real problem is that people hate complexity. It's confusing and it makes them feel dumb. So they just stick to what they learn and they just throw that out over and over and over. But I want you to realize that it does indeed, in reality, in the world we live in, yes, this is real life, it is backed by actual scientific fact. Biology doesn't care if it makes you uncomfortable. It just is. Wouldn't that kind of be like you just get stuck at the primary colors and you just absolutely refuse to accept purple? Pink's not red! It doesn't exist! Meanwhile, genetics is over here just doing their thing looking like a whole ass rainbow. You're colorblind. No, there is no such thing as good colorblind. Gametes don't define the entirety of sex. Intersex people exist and they challenge the binary, but they're not the only ones that challenge the binary either. If your best source is a site that says climate change isn't real, maybe, just maybe, you might need a better source. I absolutely love how science puts us as just another species in the animal kingdom, and just like all of them, we are so diverse and have so many variations between us. All right, everyone, I hope you'll support this video. I hope you're engaged from the bottom up and leave me a comment, a like, a follow, anything you'd like. And as always, stay rare.